And we designed that in case there was ever a food shortage because it is absolutely the best meal in a canister. It's a complete meal shake. It provides your body with a complete multivitamin, multi-mineral, a good high protein, which has a complete amino acid score.
Wow. So the earth is made for mankind to exist by the creation of the oxygen, and then the earth feeds off that waste product, carbon dioxide. Wow.
Breath, oxygen can either help a system or harm a system.
Boo on his knee. Boo-boo, for those of you that don't know what that is, that would be like significant road rash. Mom comes along and says, "Oh, little Johnny, let me give that boo-boo a little kiss, and let's go get you an ice cream, because that's going to make you feel better." You know, a lot of people ask us why we have all this Kingdom line stuff, all these Kingdom products, and there's many, but let's kind of explain why we do this and what is available. Just kind of mentioning a couple things out there.
Well, our flagship product, of course, is Kingdom Fuel, and we designed that in case there was ever a food shortage because it is absolutely the best meal in a canister. It's a complete meal shake. It provides your body with a complete multivitamin, multi-mineral, a good high protein, which has a complete amino acid score. It's got greens and reds and even a little bit of fiber in it. So there won't be any starving if food goes on the shy.
No doubt. And then obviously we made the Kingdom Candy next, which is kind of a Kingdom Fuel in a bar, if you will. We got peanut butter flavored and salted caramel. Which one's your favorite?
Oh, I like them both. And I refer to that as the sweet without the cheat. You know, sometimes we feel guilty because we're having something sweet, but in this case, you don't need to.
And then we were able to find a bottle that was able to produce hydrogen ions. And those hydrogen ions in that Kingdom H2 are put into, by the machine, into water. You fill the water in there and it puts hydrogen in it. And those things are like amazing because that hydrogen can go into the body and it can reduce free radical buildup and also decrease inflammation. How about that? That's pretty cool.
It is just amazing how this hydrogen works in the system. Of course, you know that at the cellular level, we are doing something called rusting in real time. If we don't keep up with it and reduce that rusting, we age faster than we need to. So by drinking hydrogen water, perhaps 3 8-ounce glasses or bottles a day, you can actually put yourself in a healing state, decrease delayed onset muscle soreness, feel better, feel stronger, longer.
And the whole idea of this Kingdom mindset is to think different, be different, and live different than the world as it is. Our newest creation, I'm pretty
Ding,
proud
ding, ding,
of.
drum roll.
It is the Kingdom Crunch cereal. It's got a amazing. So, obviously, when I look at this one, there's 2 flavors: peanut butter and acai bowl. Acai, A-C-A-I. If you're in Oklahoma, it's called acai.
Is
Acai
it
bowl.
a acai bowl
Acai bowl. You gotta say it like that. Acai bowl.
or acai bowl?
Yeah, funny. I hear all kinds
Got
of
me all twisted up.
pronunciations. But the bottom line is it's acai bowl and it's peanut butter. These are amazing. I can't think of anything bad to say about these, not because we made them, but they actually serve an incredible need.
They do. If you turn the label over and you look at the back of the box, you know, we are intense label readers. If one of the first 5 ingredients is sugar, it's time to put it back on the shelf. Well, Kingdom Crunch, guess what? It has absolutely 0 added sugars. It's also very high in protein. So what a great way to start off your day with giving your body a complete amino acid score.
Yeah, how many cereals are really out there, sweetheart, that have high protein? I mean, peanut butter has 11 grams of protein per serving, and acai bowl has 8 grams of protein per serving. That's unheard of. You can look out there in any sort of cereal market, and you're not going to see it. You're going to see a bunch of high carbohydrates. Respectively, the carbohydrates are 11 for the peanut butter, so it's the same as the protein. A little bit higher in the acai bowl because it's got a little more blueberries in it, so it's 12. Again, they're not high carbohydrate. They also have a good amount of fats, and this is important because it's not going to be like these seed oil fats, is it?
No, that's the fats that are in these come from coconut oil, and it's very satiating for the appetite. So not only does it have complete amino acid score, low sugar, high protein, it is got a crunch that we all crave, especially when it comes to a breakfast cereal.
A lot of people ask, are these products right here, are they diabetic friendly? What would be your answer?
Yes. In fact, it very minimally elevates that continuous glucose monitor if you're actually wearing them. So, for a type 2 diabetic, this is a great way to start off your day and get away from those high blood sugar spikes that often happen first thing in the morning.
And they would also be considered by many definitions paleo or keto as well because they have natural ingredients in their proper form. So these things are amazing, and I haven't tried it back. Which one do you like the best?
My favorite, of course, takes me all the way back to childhood. Captain Crunch Peanut Butter Crunch.
Uh-oh.
So, of course, Kingdom Crunch Peanut Butter is my fave.
I like them both. I find that you can eat them moist, in a bowl like you would typically eat these. Cereals are not food. Folks, cereals are not food. Stop feeding those to your children right now. Hear me. Those are the worst things you can probably do. So don't eat that. Adults out there, for your late night cereal snack, stop it. It's creating disease. I'll just go straight there to the core on that one. But these, in a sense, you can have them with milk products. Now, you got to watch milk products because a lot of people don't tolerate dairy, right?
That's correct. If we look at genetics, approximately 80% of the population has lactose intolerance. That simply means that they don't make enough of the enzyme lactase to break milk sugar down. So we've saved you from that maladity, if you will, and we've kept the milk out.
Yeah, so you can use a little bit of unsweetened coconut, unsweetened cashew, unsweetened almond milk, and these are great. One little tip we've got on this that somebody told me about. I haven't actually done this yet, but I'm going to, maybe today. Who knows? They put a little bit of Kingdom Fuel in there, 1 scoop with a little bit of unsweetened almond milk. Put them all together, and they say it's like a really thick porridge. It's very filling. So there you go. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
I can't wait to try it.
I'm serious. I may try that tonight, and if I do, we'll be sure and tell you about that soon. But folks, this is the reason for the Kingdom line. We've created products for you to have health at your disposal at a price you can afford, and you really can't afford to be unhealthy these days, can you? Hope that helps.
In this episode, we're going to talk about how to breathe correctly for optimal health, mood, and learning performance.
Breathing correctly up next.
Our flagship product is called Kingdom Fuel. Tell us a little bit about Kingdom Fuel and why it's so good.
We saw people struggling with the idea and concept of it's too expensive to eat healthy. So we thought, okay, that's the problem. Let's find a solution. So we found a solution for $5 or under per meal. And that represented the birth of the idea of Kingdom Fuel. So Kingdom Fuel is organic pea protein. It's got greens and reds in it, so this is the phytonutrients from green plants and red plants that we all talk about. Eat your vegetables, right? It's also got vitamins and minerals in it, so it's got a complete complex of that. And it's got also soluble and insoluble fiber, which the difference between the two is profound. Soluble actually gathers moisture and makes you full, and the insoluble goes through the system and grabs things like damaged particles.
The body runs on nutrients, it doesn't run on medication. And Kingdom Fuel is a complete multivitamin and mineral.
Introducing OK Movie Stream, your ticket to a world of cinematic classics and wonders, right from the heart of Oklahoma and the surrounding areas.
Baby, take a walk under the moonbeams.
Dive into a world of captivating stories and extraordinary talent, all on OK Movie Stream.
You got to believe, y'all.
Choose the option that suits you best. Watch for free with commercials, binge watch your favorites for 3 days, or unlock ad-free streaming for just $10 a year. Join the OK Movie Stream community today and embark on a cinematic journey like never before.
I don't know about you, but I have to have that cup of coffee in the morning. And Kingdom Cup is mold-free, it is pesticide-free, and it is organic. It's got this flavor that is delicious. You don't even have to put cream or sweetener in it.
And it's Kingdom Cup with a K,
K.
right? So this is important. 50% of all coffee, at least, contains mold. And this is a key thing. That's in bean form, right? So you're going to be a little grinder. They're just a few bucks. Grind it up, put it in your maker, and make it. Why did we go with the bean form, the whole bean? Because ultimately the powder form is the one that gathers the most moisture. And that means the more potential mold development. So this is actually organic, mold-free, certified. It's got a little certificate with it. That's important because ultimately people drink coffee. It's cultural. And so we tried to meet the culture where it is and create a healthy alternative.
We have to breathe or we would die. There are, however, some really important tips on understanding proper breathing. Let's talk about some of those tips.
Well, I like how you started this segment off. We have to breathe to live. That's pretty good.
Yeah, well, isn't that the most at the top of the food chain? Breath is first, no breath.
Yeah. First thing we do when we're born is inhale. The last thing we do is exhale, man. There you go. That's pretty simple like that, you know.
Breathing is even more, oxygen is even more important than water or food.
It is. We have to have this idea to breathe because we don't think about it too much, but it's the way we bring in oxygen and the way we exhale the waste product called carbon dioxide. The fascinating thing about that, I just think about this, is the plants and all that create the oxygen, but they need carbon dioxide. Wow. So the earth is made for mankind to exist by the creation of the oxygen, and then the earth feeds off that waste product, the carbon dioxide. Wow.
Fascinating. So breath, oxygen can either help a system or harm a system. For example, breathing, if we're overly anxious, or let's say we have a chronic lung disease like COPD, oftentimes the breathing is rapid and quick, and that is sympathetic in nature.
Yep.
If we go to a yoga class, or if we focus on this thing called diaphragmatic breathing, we then shift the system into this parasympathetic or calming or healing nature. So understanding how we're breathing can really increase the state of mood that we're in at any given time.
Well, it can, and it's a result of. It's also a start of at the same time. But let's break that down again so people understand it. The autonomic nervous system. I like to say it's an automatic nervous system.
The unconscious is something that you're not conscious of.
It works by response that we do. So it has this fork in the road. So we have this sympathetic side that really is not sympathetic at all. It's kind of like, I thought it was a funny name. It's a side that is triggered by the stress. So it's a side that creates cortisol. It's a side that we would understand as the stress side.
Fight or flight.
Fight or flight. That actually shortens those breaths, right? They become more shallow because we're getting ready to fight. On the other side of the coin, the parasympathetic or the relaxation side allows us to have more elongated or more calm breaths. So less cortisol. So even the breaths can affect our hormones. They can drive them or they can be response of them. So the breath that we have is incredibly important. And I know people get weirded out with that a little bit, like, feel your breath, follow the breath, but really it's actually to think about the breath and really slow it down helps us physiologically, doesn't it?
Well, I've been through many different training processes, from understanding meditation, yoga breathing techniques, and at the end of the day, I even find myself sitting in traffic, calming my breath. Well, what does that mean? I might inhale over 5 seconds, exhale over 8.
Yep.
So I'm actually taking control of that breath. And like you said, if you're breathing really rapidly, you're not only blowing off carbon dioxide, but it's signaling your adrenals to put out more of those stress hormones. So then the body becomes more stressed.
Yeah, and I learned a trick that you mentioned, diaphragmatic breathing. A lot of people know, or maybe some don't know, that I was a police officer at one time, and part of my time, my decade on the SWAT team, while I was in law enforcement, I was a sniper for several years, and I learned to diaphragmatic breathe, and I usually be lying on my stomach, and I was taught to push your belly into the ground, so you could feel the ground, which would be forcing your system into that parasympathetic side where you'd relax, which would help you be able to make better decisions instead of being stress decisions. They'd be more calm-based decisions. So I can teach you how to do this really simple. This is easy. So if you would right now, wherever you are, put your hands right here on your belly, right on your belly button, and then just as you inhale, the stomach comes out. The upper body doesn't move. It's not like this, not like this. As you inhale, the stomach comes out, and as you exhale, the stomach comes back. You inhale, the stomach comes out. You exhale, the stomach comes back. Stomach is on the inhale, on the exhale. You can do that even at night to improve sleep. I've told people at night, if you really want to get hardcore into it and you're having a hard time going to sleep, lie on your back and get a big heavy book and see what you can do to lift the book up and down while you breathe. That will force your body to go into the parasympathetic, and you can even watch your heart rate go down. And typically, my heart rate there is 68 right now, but we're on TV. That's pretty good. But I catch myself many times when I'm talking to people, I will put my hand on my belly so that I can respond to their questions better, so that I'm not responding out of a reaction, but I'm responding out of a response base. And that's really the calm side versus the stress side.
One of the things that we love to do is give people tools to help them manage the lifestyle better. So instead of running to the kitchen when you're under stress and getting a dopamine high from a sweet treat, perhaps we need to just sit down and focus on breathing, calming the system down, taking a little time just to inhale and exhale. And before you know it, you've gotten out of that fight or flight system, and you've taken yourself more to the rest and relax system.
Here's what we're going to challenge you to do. And try this every day. 60 seconds.
Just 60 seconds.
60 seconds, 1 minute of that 1,440 minutes you get a day. Just put your hand on your belly, just like we taught you, and work on diaphragmatic breathing.
Call it a pause break.
Do that right now, every day, as a sort of a plan. And I guarantee you, without question, we are certain of this, it will help you relate to stress in a whole lot better manner. And it might just improve your health a whole lot.
Just ahead, the relationship between food and comfort eating.
You don't want to miss this one. Our Kingdom Candy with a K again. 2 flavors. We got salted caramel and peanut butter. These are great. They're
kind of like a complete meal.
Yeah, they're 200 calories. People want to know that all the time. And not that we're worried about calories, but these things have great ingredients. They're not sweetened with sugars. They don't have those false sugars or fake sugars, artificial
They've
sugars.
got fiber in them.
They do. It's interesting. Salted caramel crunch is our newest flavor. We'll come up with some other stuff at some point, but those can bridge the gap of that sweet tooth craving. They're sweetened with monk fruit, and that's really, if you know what that is, it's not going to raise blood sugar.
It's really only 2 grams of sugar. I refer to it as the sweet without the cheat.
Any of these things out here are designed to be money-saving, nutrition-giving, and life-enhancing. And this is a big deal. So you'll find out, like thousands of other people did, that these things will help you live healthy longer. The body's amazing at recovery, so you want to give it every chance, no matter what time it is. So in that context, no, it's certainly never too late. You're never too old to start trying to be healthy.
No matter where you are in terms of your health, that you can turn this around.
It's never too late to start a wellness program, and it's never too late to reach your healthcare goals. There's an old adage, and I'm not sure where it came from, but I really do like it. And they say the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is today.
We just want people to hang on to hope.
We are hope dealers. And if you are not paying attention to the 4 foundational pillars of health, physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual, eventually it is going to catch up.
If we get all those 4 areas right, and we do it right, we see a dynamic occur in the middle called wellness, and that's where people get better. Their health is really going to return as a side effect of wellness.
Let's get real. Most emergency food is just as bad for you as any other choice in the standard American diet. And that's just sad.
We don't just need food, we need highly nutritional food.
We don't just want to survive food shortages, we are meant to thrive in adversity.
Complete your daily nutrition and have shelf-stable Kingdom Fuel as a cornerstone of your food supply.
Don't sacrifice your health or your taste buds.
Stock up on Kingdom Fuel now.
Understanding the relationship between food and emotion is a loaded gun.
Oh, and it pulls the trigger many times too and destroys a lot of lives. Like, for example, we find people doing what's called comfort eating. We all know what that is. It's when you are looking for food to provide comfort for some wound or hurt that you're going through. And typically the foods we gravitate to are the worst kind of foods that create inflammation. They will cause you to gain weight, and they'll cause you to even be more sick and more depressed and more wounded. So it never solves the problem. So we've got to get away from using food as a comfort. I just think that's the key thing within what we need to talk about.
We've talked about this little story with little Johnny for a long time, and it is all around events and emotion. Can you talk about that little story?
Yeah, little Johnny, he seems to get the brunt of all the jokes these days, doesn't he?
Little Johnny.
Little Johnny. Poor little guy. Let's make little Johnny in this case 4 years old. So little Johnny gets on his bicycle and he's learning how to ride a bike. He's got his training wheels off and he falls down one day and gets this boo-boo on his knee. Boo-boo, for those of you that don't know what that is, that would be like significant road rash. Mom comes along and says, "Oh, little Johnny, let me give that boo-boo a little kiss and let's go get you an ice cream because that's going to make you feel better." Of course, little Johnny goes and gets the ice cream. He feels a little bit better. Well, little Johnny gets in school eventually. He gets to first grade and he starts making good grades and brings home a report card and that thing says an A on it. And little Johnny is so happy, they go celebrate with, you got it, an ice cream cone. Well, little Johnny eventually starts playing sports and they have a great, big, amazing victory one day and they're so happy. It's time to go celebrate with some ice cream. You get it, right? Well, little Johnny's sports team, they go from the victory to defeat, just like the wide world of sports used to talk about. Well, they have to go console themselves with an ice cream. And then little Johnny gets to third grade and he finally has somebody that's very important to him die, say his grandma or grandpa dies. And they have to go get some of that grief taken care of by getting him an ice cream because that's what grandma used to do. In all those things, little Johnny has dealt with pain. Little Johnny has dealt with achievement. He's dealt with victory. He's dealt with defeat. And he's dealt with grief by ice cream.
So
these little
ice
things,
cream becomes the emotional Band-Aid.
Bingo. And little Johnny never knows how to deal with that. And so when little Johnny gets to being a grown man, all we are is products in adults. We're products of our childhood. And all those memories are sort of cooked into and baked into and tattooed into our hypothalamus. In a sense, where in our inner brain, we have that memory that says, I know why I felt better and what made me feel better. So those triggers appear again. We've got to relearn those triggers. And I'm not saying that ice cream is bad. I didn't say that at all. But to use food as a Band-Aid in all those emotional things translates children into addictive eaters when they have problems as adults.
And emotional eating, the satisfaction from emotional eating will never be satisfied, which is completely different than true physiological hunger or hunger pangs. If you're truly physically hungry and you eat nutritious food, you will satisfy the hunger pangs. But the emotional need will not be satisfied just with emotional eating.
No, it will actually make you more hungry. It's funny, there's a term that is used a lot of times that we kind of consider it overeating. It's called gluttony. But gluttony, by definition, is the insatiable desire for something that will never bring about satisfaction. Think about that for a moment. The insatiable desire for something that will never bring about satisfaction. That's a huge deal. And that could be anything. I mean, you could become addicted to anything, like even drugs, but you can become so addicted to food in those times of hurt and wound And boy, in our world today, people hurt and they have wounds and they have pains and they have traumas and dramas and uncertainties. And a lot of people, I mean, even with the past, remember the pandemic we had and went through a couple years ago? You know, there was the COVID-19 or whatever people were saying. That was weight gained. Why was that?
COVID 19, 20, 40, before it was all
COVID-40,
said and
yeah,
done.
whatever that was. But it became something that became a problem. And it caused people to become more and more depressed. And we saw, you know, suicides go up, and isolation builds depression, which depression and then can build to overeating, et cetera, et cetera. So there's an incredibly strong tie and link to emotions and eating, but we need to sort of diminish or dismiss or even cut that link in half, because emotions are great, eating is great. We have to have both, and we should be able to do both effectively. But when they're connected like that in an unhealthy way, it just sort of multiplies unhealthiness.
What I found, one of the tricks that I found, or one of the tools that I found has been very helpful, is to have a better relationship with food. I mean, we have to eat, and we want it to be pleasurable while we're eating. We spend a lot of time with family and friends eating. When we sit down to a plate of food, it is good to have a conversation with what we're doing. Do I need this? If the answer is yes, do I need this right now? If the answer is yes, ask the question, why? Oftentimes, we discover that we're tired. We need to be sleeping instead. We're bored, and we're going to food as a habit. We're chewing on something emotionally, so we're going to food as comfort. So if we can identify the reason that we're actually going to food as a comfort, or we can change the relationship that we have it and probably save ourselves a lot of physical stressors and discomfort.
Oh my gosh, a lot of people today, you know, I mean, I don't want to talk Christianese because it freaks people out, but the bottom line is, you know, people that are Christian out there know they have the Holy Spirit within them, and He is known as the Comforter. So if you think about this, why are we trusting in this piece of food over here that's not got any nutrients in it over the real Comforter? It kind of makes you think about that. But honestly, if you're a parent out there and we talked about with little Johnny, rings a bell with your child, begin to make some changes for little Johnny's good. And if you're struggling with comfort food eating, reach out to us, because you know, we deal with it all the time. We can give you some tools to get through it and ways to sort of turn that discomfort into real good and healthy comfort. And there's a way out of that, so it doesn't have to be this negative vibe that's hurting people so much.
Exploring biohacking, bioharmonizing, biosynergizing, stacking, resilience, or anti-fragility.
Start here. No gimmicks, just proven results.